When it comes to the world of entertainment, there is always that one genre that people just see as being done to death. There's the horror genre, which has seen some better days, and there's a little genre out there called the zombie genre. I mean, how many movies out there have you seen for a zombie apocalypse, and it's always the same exact thing, and either you love those movies or you just absolutely hate them. I mean, some are done pretty well, and others, they're just terrible. And the same thing goes for games. There's quite a few awesome zombie games. Like, to me, Dying Light was really well, but some people, well, a lot of people actually really hated it. But again, I kind of enjoyed it. Now, one of these zombie games that I really enjoy is one called Left 4 Dead. Now, for whatever reason, there's only 2 of these games, and both of them are really well put together, and it's a shame they don't make more of these, but more on that later. Anyway, this game came out quite a few years ago, and it's still good to see that it's still praised for being one of the best zombie games ever made, and, well, it's easy to see why. Its sequel only came out a year later, and again, it's seen as one of the best games in the zombie genre, and it's had mixed opinions. Some people love it, some people, well, they hate it. And it is easy to see why. I mean, these games came out a year apart, and they didn't really change too much, but still, it was done really well the first time. I have to say, its couch co-op was really fun. This is a great game to play with friends either on the couch or online, and it was a great experience back on the Xbox. Anyway, I thought we'll take a look back at these games and see if they still hold up to being some of the greatest games in the zombie genre ever. I mean, do they really still hold up? Well, the only way to find out is, of course, to play them. So, let's start off, of course, in no particular order, but with Left 4 Dead 1.
Left 4 Dead 1 doesn't really have a story, and it doesn't actually need one. The game holds up for just being a game. You play it and you have fun, and it does it so well. By today's standards, the premise is quite ordinary. You have to get from point A to point B without being murdered by zombies. Such a simple premise, but it's just done so well here, and you can have hours upon hours of fun playing the same level over and over again. It's just so damn enjoyable. The game offered quite a bit for its time. I mean, there's the campaign, which is all about you getting from one point to another without getting murdered, but there's also a survival mode, which is where, well, you survive an endless horde of zombies, just trying to see how long you can survive for. There's a versus mode where you and your friends can compete against each other, one being a survivor and one being the infected. And then of course there's a solo mode where instead of playing online with friends, the AI companions fill in as the extra players. The game even has couch co-op split screen, which today unfortunately doesn't happen so often, but this is one of those games that you'll call all your friends over to come and play, and you can create so many fun gaming memories just from playing this game for like 10 minutes.
So this is one of those games that you do not want to play for the story. It's just hardly interesting. If you want a good story for a zombie game, well, good luck to you. There's hardly any of them out there. You just gotta, well, enjoy what you can with this game, because the gameplay is so fun. The zombies are really fun to kill, but these bozos, I don't even know what they're going on about.
The ally AI though is actually pretty smart. I mean, sometimes they do some dumb things like just linger around you while you need help being revived, but more often than not they do help you out quite a bit, and they can hold their own in battle. The enemy AI is mostly brain dead, but that's sort of what you expect with zombies. I mean, they only have one goal, which is to kill you, and they do a really good job at it. So the campaign, there are 4 different characters, and it really doesn't matter which one you play as because they all play out the same. Not one of them has a special ability that the other one doesn't have, and for the most part they play out the same. The only difference is that they sound different. Playing the zombie game, the first question you might ask is, well, what are the weapons? And this game does have a good variety. You start off of course with a pistol, and it has infinite ammo, and guess what, you can dual wield them, which is really nice. There's a pump action and a semi-automatic shotgun, which are both really good at close range. There's a sniper rifle, which I personally never use because it's, well, a sniper rifle, but it does come in handy sometimes. There's an assault rifle, which is probably the most efficient, as it fires really fast, but it runs out of ammo the quickest. So as tempting as it is, you shouldn't be going trigger happy with it. It's really good, but only when you have ammo. Probably the most useful item in the game is the pipe bomb, as it attracts infected and explodes in a matter of seconds, taking quite a few of them out. They are really handy when a big horde is heading away and you gotta revive your ally, because, well, the hordes, they're pretty nasty. They have Molotovs, which I don't really use very much, and of course medkits and pills to, well, heal you up. Some levels also have mounted miniguns, which is super effective against the hordes, but expose you as you can't exactly aim in every direction, so this is only good when you have an ally by your side. Now let's talk about the zombies. You have your average zombies that just run at you and make noise, and they're pretty easy to kill once they're alone, but in big hordes they are a challenge, and it's a good challenge. You have hunters, which are super fast and agile enemies that pounce on you, leaving you defenseless, and you can only be freed by its grip if an ally jumps in, either killing it or just scaring it off. These are some real stressful moments, as they could happen at any moment, and you won't even see it coming. You have smokers who are known to shoot long tongues at you and grab you and pull you towards them, separating you from your team. Like the hunters, you need to be freed by an ally who has to take them out. They are called smokers because once they are killed, they explode and emit a cloud of smoke that blur your vision for a couple of seconds. Real nasty dudes. There's the witch, which really only attack you when you disturb them by either shooting or shining a light near them or just getting too close. They're not so bad because once they attack, it's really your fault. They won't attack you if you don't do anything, you just gotta try and avoid them. If you manage to piss off the witch, their scream will summon a horde of zombies, and these are some true terrifying gaming moments. There's a giant zombie called the Bomber, which is a large enemy that is easy to kill, but when you do, they explode and a large amount of goo which will blind you and attract more infected. These ones I recommend you try and kill from a distance, that way they can't do much damage. And finally there's a tank, which I often consider to be a little mini boss, as they are super fast and strong and take a whole lot of firepower to kill. They are known to make the earth shake as they run at you, and they can smack you around, which can be quite devastating. They can also pick up rubble and chuck it at you, which does take quite a bit of your health away. In conclusion, this is a very good game with endless amounts of fun, especially with friends, and it has a lot of replay value just for being so damn fun. Since there's no story, you can just pick up this game whenever you feel like it and just jump straight into the action. And there aren't many games like that, so this is one of those games that you should always keep by your side. You never know when you're gonna need it.
Well guys, that was Left 4 Dead 1. To me, it is a true gaming classic and it deserves some praise. I mean, why hasn't there been either a third game or just a remaster? I mean, it's been over 10 years, they should do that. But well, for the reason Valve is just being a bunch of douches, so I guess we shouldn't expect too much from them. Anyway, off we go to Left 4 Dead 2. As I already said, this game only came out a year later, and again, it has some mixed opinions. Some people love it or hate it, and it doesn't do too much differently, but yet again, the first game wasn't broke, so why fix it? Anyway, let's pop this guy in and see if it is a well put together sequel to one of the greatest zombie games ever made. Let's check this out.
Left 4 Dead 2, oh boy, this is one of those games that seem to have split the fan base quite a bit. Either you love it or you hate it, and to me, I kind of love it. The game itself doesn't seem to change so much from the first one. It still plays out the same, the story is still the same, and the whole gameplay is pretty much exactly the same, which I don't mind. First one was just done so well that I don't mind playing it pretty much a second time in a cash-in sequel. It was just done so well the first time that, to me, well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Now, they have made some changes, like having different types of guns, and they now have melee weapons, which I think is a welcoming addition. I mean, I ran out of ammo so often in the first one that I just wanted to have a decent melee weapon besides just, well, using my fist. Here I can have swords, chainsaws, and other cool things, and they just work so well, and yeah, I kind of like it.
Don't stop fighting. What are those guys doing in those suits? Reloading! Reloading! Reloading!
There are 5 missions, each with their own little chapters in it, and each one of them is more enjoyable than last. And again, this is one of those games that you can just come back to whenever you feel like it, and it will still be as fun as it was the first time you played it. The characters in this game have more personality than they did in the first game. I mean, I don't really care about that, but it's just nice to see.
The opening cutscene just goes in a little bit more depth than the first about what's actually going down and who these people are, just to, I guess, have you feel a bit of a connection between these characters. I mean, I don't play this game for the story, but it's just something nice to have going around. There are also a couple new faces around with the infected. We now have a charger who's basically a smaller version of the tank, but this guy charges at you and pushes you way back. The charger you'll fear just as much as you fear the tank. He's scary, ugly looking, and well, takes a lot of damage just to put him down. There's also a new infected that wears body armor who takes a lot of damage to take down, and he's pretty much just a new bullet sponge, but still, it's nice to see some new faces around here, especially ones that are really hard to kill. Another really cool addition to the game is this new weather system. Each time you play a level, the weather might change. The first time you play it might be dark, and next time you play it could be storming. Each difference in the weather will impact the way you play the game. Sometimes it'll be too dark to see anything, other times it'll be too loud to see or hear anything. It just mixes up the gameplay quite a bit, and again, it's just really enjoyable. There are also 2 new game modes, which I personally don't really play, but if you just want some cool new game modes, then these might be ones for you. One of these game modes is called Realism, which is pretty much the campaign done harder, but you just gotta get the zombies down by getting them with a headshot. I mean, there's nothing more to it, it's just the campaign done just a little bit more difficult. Still rather fun though. Scavenge is a 2v2 game mode, which is where it just wants to see who can take the most gas canisters to a generator without dying or before the timer runs out. I would rather play the campaign with friends, but some people might get a bit of a kick out of this, and when you do, it can be fun. For the most part, this game plays out exactly the same as the first one, and that honestly doesn't bother me too much. I just enjoy the first one so well that this is a bit of a mini upgrade to me, and it's still rather neat. Now, the only question you should be asking yourself is, do you prefer this one or the first one? It shouldn't matter too much anyway, they're both pretty much the same game, and by the way things are going, this is all we're ever gonna get. Well, there you have it folks, that was Left 4 Dead 1 and Left 4 Dead 2. Both of these games are really good, and I have to say they are must-have for pretty much anyone who has an Xbox. And if you haven't had it already, then I don't know what you're doing with yourself. So, is there still room for zombie games out there? Of course there is. I mean, we've had one recently called World War Z. I mean, it was alright. It just sort of copied the Left 4 Dead. But again, it was done pretty well. And I have to say, it's one of the finest games of this year. Or whatever it came out. Yeah, that's not the point. What I'm trying to say is, Valve, learn to count above 3 for frick's sake.